Now, what's this Leech business? Leech is automatic. Leech. When this monster rolls 3 or more, interesting. When this monster rolls 3 or more skulls while attacking and does at least 1 damage, he gains 1 health. That's interesting. This guy has 4 attack dice. Even if I don't trigger Leech, that's some pretty freaking great attack dice. He is going to destroy the wizard. That's all there is to it. He's going to destroy the wizard. Now, as in Descent, and I think these rules also apply to original HeroQuest rules, these monsters automatically jump pits. Is that true in Descent? I can't remember now, but it is true in HeroQuest. Okay, so 1, 2, oh yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, he is putting himself in a position that it makes it very difficult for other heroes to get in there, and because the wizard's the last one to go, so he's not going to be able to move for a while. That's a good move. That's a good Zargon move right there. Let's see here. Francisco asks, after saying "be right back," also, did a date get picked for the Pizza with an Asterisk party? That's a special event for patrons at patreon.com/spiritbladeproductions. The voting is still up, or the whatever you call it, the scheduling thing, so that patrons can select their availability. That's still up. That's going to be sometime in October, and as I record this and stream this, it's September 28th. I can't remember what date I said I would be checking the results and announcing it, but if you look at that post about scheduling it, it'll say when that date is. I think maybe it's later this week that I'm gonna, like Thursday or Friday, I think I said. So anyway, yeah, looking forward to that. Okay, what just happened? Oh yeah, he's gonna attack with freaking 4 attack dice, baby. Oh my gosh. 4 skulls. 4 skulls. Too bad he's not wounded, because that would activate Leech. But freaking 4 skulls. My gosh. Okay, wizard. Okay, wizard. Jeez. I think the wizard needs to have rock skin cast on him, because he's really getting targeted a lot. He only has 2 defense dice, so he's taking at least 2. He's taking all 4, which is going to wipe him out. He's going to have to take that other healing potion. Let's see what we get. Okay, we got, see, that is handy. That is handy. I really do dislike rolling 1 when I'm drinking those D6 potions. So I'm, of course, going to choose the 5 result. That brings my body back up to 4, but now my wizard is out of healing potions. So I think I'm going to want to get him some healing potions and cast Rock Skin on him post-haste. That's it for Zargon's turn. We're going back to the Barbarian's turn. Hey, Balmy Leader. Thanks for coming out. The Barbarian... Dare he jump the trap just to try to get in there and save the wizard? I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's necessary. Here's what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to be right there. And I guess he'll just stay put for now. The elf is going to go 1. Let's see. Who has more hit points, elf or dwarf? Dwarf definitely has more. Gosh, let's see here. I'm debating in my mind how much I want to modify the elf's acrobat ability. He has his special ability is a static one that he can always use, and this is something that I came up with for him. Each hero has their own special ability. This is the elf's acrobat. The elf may move through enemy figures but must end his movement in an empty space. After ending his movement, the elf player individually rolls 1 combat die for each enemy space he moved through. On a skull, the enemy gains a free attack against the elf, who may roll defense dice. Now, I'm thinking just in terms of theming, that it would be kind of cool if the elf could, like, automatically jump over at least a single trap space. Maybe not 2 back-to-back, but maybe a single trap space. But that's a lot to fit on this one card. So I'll rule that he's going to have to roll like normal if he wants to get over that trap. And he only has 3 body points. Is it really worth it to me to get over there? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3 and have him stay put there. And that's the elf's turn because... I got to slide this card back where it was under my character sheets. Because now the dwarf is going to go 1, 2, 3. So what I'm doing here is providing an escape route for the wizard, if you couldn't guess already, who is just going to take a step or 2 back. 1, 2, and go right there. So now it is Zargon's... Wait! Oh, no. Okay, I was going to like, rock skin! No, but the elf was not in position to cast rock skin. We can do that next turn. So, Zargon's turn. He gets a threat. Now, here's an interesting choice that I have. You know, I have this rule that both monsters and heroes can take advantage of called Reckless Charge. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, let me tell you what I was thinking. According to the rules of Reckless Charge, I could have the Feryx move here and go 1, 2, 3, 4 and land here. But then for every enemy space he went through, that figure and any adjacent figure would get to make a free attack, and he would only be able to roll half of his defense dice rounded down. So it does allow... I like that rule. It was a little bit too dangerous, I noticed when I was playing Quest 1. But I still like that rule because I just like the wizard not being entirely safe. But that is pretty risky because the Feryx has... I mean, he has 4 attack, but he still only has 2 defense and 2 body. And I don't think with how clustered these guys are, they would all get an attack. So that's like Barbarian Dwarf, Wizard Elf, and Barbarian again. Oh, actually, the Wizard would get one too. So Barbarian, Dwarf, Wizard, it's way too many. So, and I could go here and roll at a disadvantage when attacking the Dwarf. He has 6 body points. The Barbarian also has 6. Let's just stick with the Barbarian. So we're going to go right here. Now, do I want to do I want to put a bleed token on him? That would be kind of cool. Let's see if we can pull that off. Even though that 4 attack dice is pretty enticing. Famished Flesh Eater. I'm going to change this in my notes. Famished Flesh Eater. Because he doesn't just eat the flesh of his own kind. He's not merely a cannibal. He eats all kind of flesh. That's just how messed up a Feryx is. I have never heard of a Feryx outside of Descent, by the way. But apparently they're maybe nasty in other fiction. I don't know. Maybe they were a Descent original. Famished... Okay, so it's anything but a 1 or 2, and this ability will activate. I always like to pick up... It's almost superstition. I always like to pick up a die that does not have the result that I'm going for on it, with the reasoning that, statistically speaking, I am less likely to roll this unfavorable result again. Whatever. Okay. Oh yeah, that is an activation of Famished Flesh Eater. So he gets a bleed token. I don't think... Have any of my heroes gotten... I know they've gotten poison disease tokens. I don't know if any of them have gotten bleed tokens yet. So, Barbarian now has a bleed token. And that is the end of Zargon's turn. Let's see here. Oh, Balmy Leader's talking Superman a little bit. I watched half of Man of Steel, he says, but I have a lot of stuff to do. So after that, I'm going to watch the rest. I consider Superman more of an anti-hero mostly in the games and some other stuff. It's interesting, you know... how he's been treated. I think sometimes because writers don't know what to do with Superman as he is, as really a pure and virtuous character, they feel like he's boring, or they don't know what to do with him that could be interesting. And so one route they'll go, we saw this in Smallville, and we've seen this in many stories involving Superman, is to have him go dark. because that's a shocking change. And so I think as kind of like a event type story, like when you kill Superman or break Batman's back or make Green Lantern go insane or whatever, like they've done in the past in the comics, it makes kind of a shocking, interesting event because it's a change of the status quo. But it's a shame that I feel like they go to that with Superman so often. Now, I would argue that's not where they went with Superman and Man of Steel. Even though people were like, oh, he's like brooding and he's like down and stuff like that, I think that's a valid way to go with Superman because it doesn't take away the fact that he's a virtuous character. He's a virtuous character who is struggling with the cost of doing the right thing. I think when Superman is boring is when he's written like the 1950s father you never had. And I feel like some people, for some reason, kind of wanted that. And some people even liked that when in Joss Whedon's cut of Justice League, he was behaving like that 1950s father you never had. And I'm like, no, I mean, like, yes, that is a valid take on Superman because he was written that way in the 1950s. And I think maybe the 60s, too. But I think the most interesting take and the take that maybe, dare I say, honors more of Superman history, incorporates, makes him modern and relatable, but incorporates that core of a virtuous person that's been there from the beginning. Even though at the beginning he had some anger and he was just kind of like a liberal avenger of wrongs and stuff. He still had virtue that was really driving that, a strong sense of right and wrong, a strong sense of morality that was driving that. And so I think that in Man of Steel, what's interesting is he is a virtuous character, but like I said, is dealing with the cost of choosing the right thing, And I think that is what makes virtuous characters really interesting to read. They do the right thing. It's not that they like, even Spider-Man will sometimes, be conflicted and make the wrong choice and later realize, oh crap, I made the wrong choice. Superman, you kind of always want to make the right choice. You know what I mean? Because he is the paragon of virtue. And so I think the way to make Superman as interesting as he can be is not to have him make the wrong choice, but to give him choices that are really hard to make the right choice in, situations that are really hard to make the right choice in, and then suffer the cost of that in terms of rejection or judgment from others, who misunderstand him or his motives or whatever. I think that could really just make Superman the most interesting character in DC Comics, in all of comic books, really. But that's a whole tear. I could say so much more on that topic, but I won't. All right. Francisco says on the topic of Superman, and yes, this is a board game stream, so I will get back to board games here. Are there any Superman stories where he has to make a choice between two things, where choosing one dooms the other, and he doesn't get to turn back time? That's nothing immediately comes to mind, but one story that I do find memorable. Oh gosh, I'm gonna give a spoiler for. Well, no, I'm not, because Balmy Leader hasn't seen Man of Steel. There is comic book fans who've read the story will know what I'm talking about, but there is a major story that has to do with Zod and a choice that Superman makes. It was a big deal. There was a lot of fallout from that. Similar to the choice he makes in the movie. And a lot of people didn't like that choice, And I'm like, well, I know you don't like that choice, and I can understand not liking that choice that he made the first time out in this new rebooted Superman franchise. I can understand that you'd maybe want him to exist in one or two movies before making that kind of choice in a second or third movie. But that choice, that moment is very much rooted and very true to the comic books. And it was a choice that came with terrible cost to Superman personally in the comic, that there was fallout from that years later. It's still referred back to, I think, as of the comics I was reading in DC 5-6 years ago, So anyway, yeah, it's all about the cost. It's all about the cost. It's not about making him go dark to make him interesting and to provide the contrast with his virtue, but man, bring out the cost. And you've got gold, and very, very few writers have really mined that potential with Superman. Okay, what the crap is going on? What am I even doing? Is it still has the Feryx put a bleed token on the Barbarian? That's right. Okay, great. So now Zargon's turn is done. We're doing the Barbarian's turn. He's going to try and get rid of this Feryx. This Feryx is nasty. So he's got 3 attack dice to try and get the job done. 1 skull. Really would have liked something better than that. He's only got 2 defense. Let's see what happens. And he blocks it. Crap. Okay. But now at least the Barbarian can move and let someone else have a turn. So he will go 1, 2, and then the Dwarf will take a shot. Well, hang on. We're not going to skip the Elf's turn. Elf... Oh, crap. I need to do the bleed token for the Barbarian. Alright, so... Dang it. Did I roll a white shield? Did I roll a white shield? Dang it, I did. No bleed token. Didn't get to see that stick around. Oh well. Let's see here. So that takes care of that. Okay, so Elf is going to cast Rock Skin on the Wizard. And it's probably not going to last very long. I mean, for those who don't know this spell may be cast on any one hero, including yourself. That hero may throw 1 extra combat die when defending. The spell is broken when the hero suffers 1 point of body damage. So, you know, I don't think that's going to last super long on the Wizard, but he does seem to be getting targeted quite a bit by a gleeful and sadistic Zargon. So, actually, you know what? I need to put that on his character sheet so that I remember. Crap. Ugh. Trying to fit too many things on my table space here. Alright, so we'll put that there. So I remember that. And that's the Elf's turn. Now we're back to the Dwarf, who, yeah, is going to move right here and take a shot. You know, the Feryx hasn't received any damage yet, has he? I'm going to use... Oh, crap, no. Dang it. I keep thinking I have a strength potion, because on my sheet I have a space for it. I put strength and then colon, or semicolon, or whatever. But the one that used to be there is crossed out, so he actually does not have a strength potion. His special ability is not really going to help. I mean, I guess I could use the Ring of Tempest, but I don't want to slow this guy down. I want to kill him. I want to kill him. So here we go. 2 skulls, baby. Okay, okay. Now we're talking. How many bodies does he have? He has 2 body, 2 defense. That does it. Bye-bye, Feryx. Whew. Okay. So, did we get any loot from that? No. Alright. So that was the Dwarf's turn. Now the Wizard. We're going to head this way. Where was this thing supposed to be? Oh, it's supposed to be here. Okay, yeah, let's go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's keep him right there. I don't want to reveal anything that might be in this space that the Wizard is going to have to deal with. And he will... Do we want to have him stop there? How's everybody doing on health? The Elf has 3 health left. And he's got a total body of 6, so let's wait on a healing spell for now. Not quite the time yet. So yeah. Elderast is done. Zargon's turn. Where'd my pencil go? There it is. Zargon gets a threat. Nothing else he can do. So we're back around to the Barbarian. Okay. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think he quite has line of sight to that spot. I'm trying to remember. It's always tricky, some of these angles here. Does he? Or doesn't he? Oh, he does actually have line of sight to that spot. But there's nothing there. Well, yeah, no, nothing there he would really be able to see, as far as I'm concerned. So he's done. Elf. Elf. Do you want to cast... No, we're not doing any healing yet. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll go here. So that's the elf. Dwarf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's set this up. We've got a door here. See if I can bring this back a little bit. All right. So we got a door there, and a dead end, just a few spaces away. And then a goblin. Or is it a goblin? Let's find out. Do I have enough on that row of my ranking? No, 4 doesn't give anything. It's got to be 1 through 3. 3. Goblin Archer. We've had one of those. So that doesn't really change much. In fact, it's probably less... He's probably less of a threat as an archer. Because in giving him... With each of the monsters that I carried over from Descent, I tried to figure out what monster I thought they would be comparable to. And then I tried roughly, I don't think I had a really strict point system, but I tried to, like if I was going to give them an extra attack die, then I would take away a defense die, or I'd take away a body point, or something. But I figured out, okay, what's the monster that's in HeroQuest that they are most close to in terms of power level, and then how would I massage the stats, how, taking from one column and giving to another and stuff. And so that's kind of like was my starting point in figuring out the stats for these different characters, and I think for the most part, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like, yes, there's still some things I want to refine and adjust, I think, long term with these rules, but I am not really like big into game design. I don't really have like the math side of game design in me. And so I am pleasantly surprised at how satisfying I'm finding the balance in general for these rules I've been experimenting with. And again, there's a link below if you want to look at these rules yourself. Again, HeroQuest is suddenly becoming relevant again because of this reprint that's due out sometime before the end of 2021, unless it's been delayed. I haven't really been keeping up with the news on that. But let's see here. Let's get the stats out for the Goblin Archer. I am so easily distracted. Goblin Archer. And as a reminder again, he has an attack of 1. Okay, so that's the difference. I took away... the normal goblins have 1 attack, or 2 attack dice. I took away 1 in exchange for giving him ranged attack, probably. Attack of 1, defend of 1, body 1, mind 1, move 10. I feel like he doesn't need that move of 10. I could probably reduce that to at least 7 or something. I don't know. But he's got bow, which is just a ranged attack automatically, and sickly shot. So since his attack is so weak, and there's no point in... there's no advantage to having a ranged attack right now. He's going to go for sickly shot. Let's see if we can... Oh, wait, it's not even his turn yet. Slow down there, Zargon. Not your turn. The dwarf is the one that just rounded the corner here, and he is entitled to an attack. And so he is going to make such an attack. Here we go. 1. This thing only has a defense of 1. Oh, yeah, of course. Man, I spent all that time looking at his stats, and I shouldn't have bothered. I should have known that was going to happen. Get any loot on this guy? Nope. Nothing. Okay, so that's the end of the dwarf's turn. Wizard, I'm just going to move the wizard right here, just so he doesn't fall too far behind. And that's enough for him. And then Zargon gets a threat, and we are back around to the barbarian's turn. Okay, barbarian. 1, 2, 3, open the door, baby. What's up? Oh, crap. What's the deal with... What did I say about... I think I came up with some kind of rule about secret doors, because if you haven't played this quest before, we're trying to rescue Sir Ragnar, like a super special knight that the king really likes, or the prince or something. Prince Magnus really likes him. Oh no, it says Sir Ragnar, one of the Emperor's most powerful... So we're in an empire. One of the Emperor's most powerful knights has been captured. Prince Magnus is going to give 240 coins divided among the heroes if we bring him back safely. Now, if you haven't played this quest before, Sir Ragnar is only found by finding a secret door. And normally one of the things that you do, you have an option to do in HeroQuest, is search for secret doors. You search for traps, but that's irrelevant. You search for secret doors, but that's irrelevant too. I think at one point I kind of had an idea for what I would do with secret doors. Since I'm looking at the map all the time, I know where the secret doors are. That's kind of an element of surprise that I have to give up. I guess I'll just put normal doors down until I come up with a rule that maybe makes sense. Let's see. For discovering traps that are about to be sprung on a hero, I have heroes roll a d6, and they see the trap before springing it if they roll lower than their current mind points. So maybe in order to, maybe I put secret doors down, but in order to open them, a character, you either need, let's say this, let's try this. The dwarf either needs to roll to disarm traps, basically, in order to open that door. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Secret doors are now locked doors. Oh, yeah, I kind of like this. Secret doors are locked doors. There's no lock-picking mechanic in this game. And as I already mentioned, because of my rules, you are less likely to be disarming traps in this game. You're gonna most times spring them as they get sprung on you. So disarming traps is going to be less of a common thing. So what if the toolkits and the dwarf's disarm traps ability actually gets converted to a disarm / lockpick ability? Ooh, yeah, that's something I like. I like picking locks. I mean, I'm tired of the mechanic in Skyrim, and Fallout. It's old. It's old. I'm using mods in my Fallout 4 playthrough right now to just basically get rid of the lock-picking minigame. But thematically, I like picking locks. Yes! Yes! Okay. Let's see here. Francisco asks, well, hang on, let me make sure, before I get too far afield, am I still just setting up a room here? I am. It's the barbarian's turn. So let me reveal this room. He's opened the door. We got another door out. We got an orc, potentially. Well, let's see. Is it an orc? It's going to be an orc or a scout. Let's see. You know what? This is taking too long. 1 through 3, orc. 4 through 6, scout. Okay, it's an orc. Yeah, I should adjust those tables so I don't have to do as much rolling. So we'll put the orc right here. Let me just finish the barbarian's turn. Now he was what, like right here-ish, I want to say? Let's say he was there. 1, 2, 3, can he get to the orc? 4, 5, 6, he can't. He can't. Let's have him just go in and just stand in the doorway. And that's the barbarian's turn. Okay. So, Francisco asks, I am lurking in a Twitch stream and noticed that... Well, hold on. Are you telling me that you're not giving me your full and undivided attention while I am streaming? I'm lurking in a Twitch stream and noticed that 70% of the streamers I follow are playing New World. I know MMOs aren't your thing, Pater, but would you say it seems like an MMO version of Greedfall? Oh man, I do not know. New World, that's the Amazon MMO, right? That's kind of been getting a little bit of buzz. I don't know. And Greedfall, I haven't played all the way through, but it's funny you mentioned it because last night I was thinking of downloading it again. I think that game I'm going to finish it maybe at some point. I just need. I sold it, but I then about, I don't know, 9 months later found that I had access to it again because I decided to get PlayStation Plus and was able to download it when it was available 1 month. So as long as my PlayStation Plus subscription is active, you know, which I think because I've been gaming with my friend in California enough throughout the year that I'll probably just keep PlayStation Plus going as long as he and I keep doing that. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be playing that game some more. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't know this. I don't know New World, and even like only being like halfway through Greedfall, I'm not even sure I would be best positioned to give you a lot of comparisons to Greedfall either. I'm deep enough into it, I guess, maybe, but yeah, that's a cool. There's some. Let me not say it's a cool game. There's some cool things going on in that game. A little too much, in fact, you know, way too much running back and forth to finish quests, to basically just talk to people, running relay races, talking to people is how a lot of those quests, too many of those quests in my opinion, are done. But I really like the world. Oh, you got me thinking about it now. Francisco? Alright. So that was the barbarian's turn. It's the elf's turn. Can he get in there and wreck house? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can. Well, he can get in there. Let's see if he can wreck house. 1 skull. 1 skull. The orc gets 2 defense dice. Only 1 body point. He's gone! Alright. Any loot discovered on his body? No. Okay, so that was the elf's turn. The dwarf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's do it. Let's open the door. Okay, this door is kind of in rough shape. This set has been well loved over the years. All right, it's a little bit better. What do we got in here? Okay, so let me see if I have a different, like a special door I can use for locked doors. Ooh, this one looks good. This is the door that you normally start quests in 2 of the expansions for HeroQuest. Keller's Keep and Return of the Witch Lord are the 2 that were released in the US. And they both use this as the door that you start at, because instead of starting at a staircase in the expansion, you almost always start off of the board, entering onto it through this steel door. But there's almost no point in having a special door as your entrance to the quest, because you're going to line up your heroes and then just open it. You're going to see it so briefly. It's almost not even worth mentioning. Whereas the wooden exit door can kind of hang around on the map for a while. Once this appears, you know, okay, that's the exit to the quest. And once you find that, you might decide, well, I want to make a clean sweep of the dungeon and come back to this later. So it stays on the board, and you enjoy its aesthetics for longer than this steel entry door. But this is like perfect for what I'm talking about. As long as I don't, I mean, I could run out of them. I think I have 2, 1 from each set, 1 from each expansion set. So if I ever have to have more than 2 secret doors on the board at the same time, that could be a problem. But oh my gosh, I am just loving this rules idea I came up with on the fly for locked doors. That's freaking cool. And you might say, well, why even bother? I mean, yes, in some ways it's just like, you know, if this was normal HeroQuest, then you would just be like, well, you're going to get that roll eventually. Why even bother rolling? But with the threat system, if the dwarf fails on that roll, then we get to cycle around, and I almost said the Overlord, and Zargon gets another threat since he failed at that roll before they can go through there. So there's a clock running. And so making those rolls is still important. It's still valuable to succeed in those rolls. So, very excited about this. All right. Let's see here. So we got a table we're putting out. And we have 2 orcs in this room. But are they 2 orcs? That's the question. Let's roll and find out. They could be a number of other things. Three. Oh, we're going up against an elemental. Now, I remember I fought this last time, and it was, I don't know, it was not as powerful and imposing as I thought it would be. It's really huge. Look at that thing. Do I want to put him there? The dwarf has finished his movement. He can't move any further. So, and when I replace the existing monsters with alternates, I kind of just rule that I can put them wherever is most advantageous to Zargon to put them. And I think since the dwarf can't move anymore, and he's all... Didn't the dwarf already attack? I think he did, and I was just kind of like, let's keep this thing going. So the dwarf is done. So yeah, the best move right now is put him here, and then he has immediate access to the dwarf to attack on his next turn. The wizard. Well, let's get this elemental guy, his stats out. Francisco says, yeah, Amazon MMO, today is release day. Oh, okay. And no, you don't have my undivided attention, LOL. You have 30%, work has 65%, and the other stream's 5%. Okay, all right. Well, it's 30 versus 5. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Actually, with your work situation, feel free to scale back on me and give more attention to your work. Let's see here. Elemental. Here we go. Elemental. It says, there we go. Attack 3, defend 2, body 1, mind 2, move 8. So that body 1 is what bothers me a little bit. Anyway, intangible, which is an automatic ability. Oh, I think that makes him harder to hit. Wow, explosion, earthquake, and smash. Now, smash, I remember what that does. That allows him basically to put 2 rubble tokens, or I use falling block trap tokens, in the space between 2 pairs of spaces to represent him breaking down a wall so he can move through a wall. All of my larger figures have the smash ability just so that they're not forced to keep away, you know, from heroes. In fact, I'm considering making smash an automatic ability. I might want to do that. But anyway, let's look at explosion and earthquake. Well, I need to refresh myself on intangible, too. I think that just makes them harder to hit with regular weapons. Let's see here. Well, they can move through... I think they can move through, like... they can move through enemy spaces. And movement, another thing about this, is movement in this game works the way movement does in 2nd edition Descent, which is a little bit wonky, but, you know, whatever. It allows basically them to, large figures that take up 2 or more spaces, to shrink down to 1 space while they're moving, as long as they can end in a space where no part of them is sharing a space with anything else. Let's see. Intangible. This monster may pass through walls and enemy figures. Oh, okay, so he doesn't... Weird. So why did I give him smash if he has intangible? Okay. This monster may pass through walls and enemy figures, but must end its movement on a revealed empty space. Okay. So that makes sense. Explosion. This monster rolls a single attack against all adjacent heroes, who each roll defense separately. Oh, that's cool. I could get in there and attack both the dwarf and the elf at the same time. That's my leading strategy right now. Earthquake, all adjacent heroes are unable to move on their next turn. Now both Explosion and Earthquake, let's see here. Oh, Explosion is automatic, and that's listed in my my reference sheet here. Earthquake is not. I have to do that instead of attacking. All adjacent heroes are unable to move on their next turn. That's not really advantageous right now. I'm going to get in there and explode. Yeah, baby. So he's going to go... how many movement does he have? 8. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and then stop right here. And then use his explosion attack. Let me give you a good look at this guy. You could probably see him okay. Oops. You could probably see him okay, but... this thing. This is from... Gosh, is this 2nd edition Descent? It might be. I can't remember. It might be. Anyway. So what kind of elemental is he? Well, he's using explosion, so I'm thinking probably a fire elemental, or maybe he can just be whatever element he wants. That's what I'm going to say. Now, that's why there's an advantage to not painting him. I can just keep it in my imagination. Keep it flexible. So he's got how many attack dice? 3 attack dice. That's pretty decent for an attack that can get everybody all at once. Let's see here. What's going to happen? Oh, come on now! That's anticlimactic. That's anticlimactic. All shields. All shields. Very disappointing. I was excited to get him in there and explode. Alright. Oh. He didn't have a turn yet. The wizard needs to have his turn. Crap. Crap. And the wizard totally would have gone in there and considered doing a, like a spell attack on this guy. He only has a body of 1. Well, I think the wizard's going to stay put. Now, this guy can move through walls, so he could try to attack the wizard on his next turn. But I don't think he's going to. I think being able to attack 2 guys there is just too tempting of a target. Oh, crap! Missed opportunity! Jeez, look at all this space right here. That's the perfect spot for the elemental. He should have been there and exploded, and then I'll bet his roll would have succeeded. Crap! Alright. So do I want to get Elderast in there to see if I can blow this guy up? He only has a body of 1. He only has a body of 1. I don't know. I could do Sleep on him. That seems like a waste for a creature with only 1 body. I could do Tempest. I should do Tempest and make him lose a turn. Yep, let's do that. Okay, so wizard's moving in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That feels risky, though. Surely I will be able to kill him before he can get another turn in. So yeah, he's going to cast Tempest. And again, Tempest reads... This spell creates a small whirlwind that envelops 1 monster of your choice. That monster will then miss its next turn. And I think that's a good spell to play right now. He's got a pretty decent damage potential that I want to counter. So that's yeah. Let's put actually this out on the board so I don't forget. Okay, so that was Wizard, then Zargon. I forgot to give myself a threat, so I will give myself that threat. Oh, and I can, with 4 threat now, I can spawn something. So let's do that. Now I'm getting into the really weak stuff. And actually, no, I've all the possible monsters I could spawn at this point. Well, no, I haven't done a Bane Spider yet. I haven't done a Bane or a Manticore. But neither of those guys are going to be good options right now, I don't think. You know what? I could spawn them in here. Well, no, he's got a line of sight there. Crap. Yeah, no, I need to spawn just the best one space figure that I can, or I could spawn. You know what? Since my heroes have been doing so well, I'm going to dial back my decision earlier, which earlier what I had done, because I felt like the Hellhound was a little too overpowered to be considered equivalent to 2 zombies, and so I took him off of here and I moved him up to here to be equivalent to 2 orcs. But I think that I'm going to put him back there. Not because I think he's equivalent to 2 zombies, but just because I feel like my heroes are doing well. I haven't used either of my healing spells. We still have multiple healing potions among us that could be traded around, even though the wizard currently doesn't have any. I should remember to give him one very soon. But let's spawn that Hellhound. And I will spawn him... where? Well, you know what? Let me look at his stats, because that'll help me make that decision. It's that breath ability I'm trying to remember. If it can go through enemy, like multiple figures, that will make a big difference in where I decide to spawn him. Okay, Hellhound. He's got an attack of 2. Sorry, is that a little bit blurry? Sorry about that. Come on, there we go. He's got an attack of 2, defense of 4, body 2, mind 1, move 8. He's got really good defense for a 2-body creature still. Piercing flame is automatic, and fire breath. Okay, this is fascinating. I love that I love monster variety in dungeon crawls. That's so important to me. You know, a board game that I'm not done with, because there are a lot of things about the rules that I do like, is Sword and Sorcery Immortal Souls. In fact, I mean, I may, rather than like on my own continue with this, playing board games, when I do board game content, it puts me in a board gamey mood, both leading up to and after. And so maybe when I am done with this stream this week, I'll set up Sword and Sorcery in this space just for me to play. I don't like streaming that one because the rules are really clunky and I think overly complex, and the monster variety is really disappointing. I'm in the point now where I've got, is it 1 expansion or 2? I've got 1 expansion, and that is increasing the monster variety, but still not where I want it to be. That was one thing that I loved about first edition Descent, and especially when you got to Road to Legend, that could incorporate monsters from all previous expansions. The monster variety was so rich and varied. And now moving so, like every monster I possibly could, over to HeroQuest and coming up with stats for them, it means that there are still surprises even for me, even as the guy who made the stats, who came up with special abilities for all of them, because there's so many I can't remember all of them. Now maybe a day will come if I really stick with this and play a lot of this over, you know, many sessions, where I will start remembering. But right now there's still such a sense of discovery in pulling out a monster and being like, ooh, what can he do? What's his ability? I love monster movies too for that reason. You learn over the course of the movie more and more about what the monster is. You see very little of it early on, and then it's revealed more and more as the movie progresses until the climax of the monster comes out. I just love that sense of discovery when it comes to monsters, you know. Discovery and exploration. I think that is something in the new heaven and new earth that I am just going to, that's really going to resonate with me, is discovering more about who God is, all these things that we don't know about his nature, and things that he will create in the new heaven and new earth that I think will be allowed to explore, creatures that he makes we'll be able to interact with in ways that we never could right now. I think that so much of what I enjoy about discovery in RPGs, exploring, and monsters even, in games like this, or Monster Hunter World, which I love so much, are like outworkings of really our desire to be able to safely explore the world we live in and safely interact with the varied creatures in creation. And so I think there's something there. I think there's something there. There's a remnant of what we were originally made to be that will be restored, that I think will just be amazing and just an endless source of enjoyment. Well, I got off on that whole philosophical tear. What the crap is going on here? The barbarian, I'm spawning, right? Yeah, because I still have a little bit of Zargon's turn. I'm spawning a Hellhound. I gotta look up his abilities. Crap, sorry guys. Piercing Flame and Fire Breath. Well, let's see what Fire Breath is. I'm guessing those things kind of work together. Fire Breath. Targeted hero places a burn token on their character sheet. At the beginning of every turn, they roll 1 combat die per token. On a skull, they lose a body point. A hero may skip his turn after rolling for the burn token to stop, drop, and roll. They roll 1d6 and discard all burn tokens on a roll of 5 to 6. So that's a bit tricky to get rid of that. If you set a hero on fire, they have to skip their turn to stop, drop, and roll. That's nasty. I dig it. And when they roll that combat die, there's no option to get rid of it. They have to skip their, doing any actions on their turn. Yeah. Ooh, I want to burn somebody. But it doesn't look like it attacks multiple characters unless, what's it called? Piercing Flame. Let's see what that's about. And this is automatic. This creature may target up to 2 heroes that a straight line of sight may be traced through. I don't know why you put the word straight in there. A curvy line of sight? Come on, Peter. It's not how line of sight works. The creature rolls once to attack and applies that result to both heroes who may roll defense dice. So, there is but one choice. Is there but one? Well, yeah. I was going to try and put him here, but Dwarf has line of sight here, Dwarf has line of sight here, Dwarf has line of sight here, so I couldn't fit him. I can't squeeze him in there. There's nowhere in this room I can squeeze him in. I don't think. Let's see. He has line of sight here. Would he have line of sight? Yeah, he'd have line of sight there. But not here. So... Oh, wait, yes, he would have line of sight to that spot. So there's nowhere in that room that the Hellhound can go. So I'm going to have to put him... Oops, that should be there. I'm going to have to put him right here. And then, but that's all right, because really, ideally, I would love to attack both the Barbarian and the Wizard, and it doesn't sound like they have to be next to each other. What does this say? Piercing Flame. The creature may target up to 2 heroes that a straight line of sight may be traced through. Not 2 adjacent heroes, 2 heroes. So he rolls once, and then that Fire Breath... Oh, but that's... yeah, he's rolling to attack. So I can attack them both with a Piercing Flame, or I can just do a regular Fire Breath to try and go for the burn token. Well, what's his attack dice now? 2 attack dice. That's not super impressive. I want to set the Barbarian on fire. My gosh. Let's do that. So he's going to go 1, 2, and try to set him on fire, right? Fire Breath. Oh my gosh. I don't even have to... Oh wait, no, I have to try and trigger it. It triggers on a 5 or 6. So this could be a wasted turn. Oh, kind of wish this was automatic. Oh well. Nope. Dang it. Oh, please don't kill him before he gets a chance to set you on fire, Barbarian. Please don't. Alright, well, we'll find out what happens, because it's now the Barbarian's turn. But first, let me catch up on some chat here. Francisco says, I guess attention should be nuanced. You have 90% audio attention, while work has 90% visual attention. Yeah, I totally get how that can work. I process things very auditorily. Let's see. Francisco Ruiz says, really appreciated that tear, my philosophical tear, because I love seeing/exploring new areas and games and never thought about how that will expand in finding more and more ways of experiencing God. Yeah, it's a fascinating topic to me to think about and consider and explore the nature of games and geek entertainment in general, because I think since the fall, humanity has been trying to recover the great pleasure and fulfillment that we lost from unbroken relationship with God. And even now, as we have right standing with God as believers in Jesus and what He did for us on the cross, we have right standing with God, but it's an incomplete reunion relationally. We are not experiencing the fullness of relationship with God that we will one day. And so, in the meantime, I really do think that all of our endeavors in creating entertainment and acquiring entertainment are us trying to capture that again. I think what we think of as entertainment and games and stuff is what work will be like in the new heaven and new earth. Because work, remember, was something that was cursed as part of the fall. It was made frustrating and difficult. But work without frustrating and difficulty is extremely satisfying. It's game-like, without the pressures and stresses and all the crap that comes with work in the fallen world, So, anyway, yeah, I think it's a fascinating topic and something I love coming back to. So, I'm glad you at least did not mind that little tear. Okay, Barbarian's turn. Dang it. Well, I got two nasty foes here. Both that can do a good amount of damage. I know that fire elemental is going to go after the wizard, because why wouldn't he if he survives? But I also have 3 characters over there that have access to trying to attack him. I think it does make the most sense for the barbarian to focus his attention on the Hellhound. So he's going to turn around and attack. Nice roll, barbarian. 2 skulls. 2 skulls. So the Hellhound has 2 body points. He's got 4 defense dice. So he is no slouch in the defense department, which I find interesting conceptually. I'm not sure if I'm super satisfied with that thematically, unless that's because he's a dog, and dogs are good at leaping and dodging. I don't know. Hey, Rugged Warrior. Thanks for coming out. Oh, crap. No way. He didn't roll a single black shield, so those 2 skulls take him out. Any loot? Hey, 25 coins. He must have swallowed at some point. I always find that really interesting in, RPGs where, I've seen this in JRPGs for the longest time. Let's see, that's going to be, now we're at 99. 99 coins for the barbarian. Where, like Dragon Quest or whatever. I mean, it's been around for so long. I think even in early first edition D&D, when you would kill a monster, you would find coins on them. And that makes sense if they're a humanoid monster that would be interested in money. But you always have to ask, well, I just killed a giant squid that came on board my boat, and it had gems and coins in him? And so you have to imagine that that's an adventurer they ate, or a mercenary they ate at some point, and they just didn't quite pass that material yet. And so it has to be carved out of them. So it must be like a just standard operating procedure in D&D worlds to cut open your any monsters that you kill and pull out their innards. I love it. I wish that was represented. I really would love a movie to be made that is that takes inspiration from D&D and actually represents some of those rules elements that we don't think about. I would love for to marry mechanics and theme, mechanics and story in ways that we don't usually think to do, like characters being aware that the more monsters they kill, the more experience they gain, and the more power that will grant them at some point. Like there's a world in which once you have experienced enough combat, you'll have this surge of power, like a quickening in Highlander that will give you new insights into how to fight, you know, because that's you gain a level and so you gain new abilities instantly, right? I'd love to see that represented in like the theme, the world building of a game, and along with like finding coins on monsters. And then I'd love to see a movie. That would be such a cool movie, you know, that I mean, I know there's a genre called lit RPG that's about characters who are playing a game and are aware that they're playing a game, but that's not really what I'm talking about. I would like to see a movie that takes those mechanics and creates an in-world reasoning for them. I think you would wind up with a very interesting fantasy world. People who gain bursts of power at some point periodically as they're out adventuring and using their life skills and stuff. And then also people who, like, on the fly in the middle of combat are pulling out, you know, vials and yanking the cork off with their teeth and downing it in the middle of combat and dodging and stuff like that. Because, you know, in video games and in RPGs all the time, we have people drinking potions in the middle of combat. But, if, you know, stop and think about what that would look like. I think it would be this really interesting, stylized... I want the freaking Zack Snyder version of that D&D world. I want the Zack Snyder version of anything, but okay. Let's settle down, Pater. Let's get back to the board game, all right? I have updated my playlist to help you find what you're looking for, anything from controversial topics that are relevant to Christian geeks, interviews with creators like author Brent Weeks and The Chosen's Dallas Jenkins, growing in faith as a geek, tabletop gaming, comic books, video games, movies, and TV shows, or you can just get to know me a little bit better. There is a playlist for you with more content being added to them all the time, so I hope you'll take a look and enjoy what you find. Thanks.